The Uganda State of Oil and Gas Sector feature is brought to you by Accord in partnership with CSCO, NTV with support from DGF.
The question of compensation for communities living in areas where there are oil and gas projects remains a sticky issue. For Uganda to start earning petroleum dollars, there are a number of infrastructure projects that must be undertaken. Some of the projects include the construction of the crude oil pipeline and the central processing facility. For instance, the pipeline will snake through a number of districts in Uganda for 900 miles before it dumps crude at the Tanzanian Indian Ocean port of Tanga. But locals we spoke to in the districts of Kakumiro and Mubende claim firms in charge of compensation have gone silent after carrying out what they claim was a flawed valuation exercise for their properties.
I
asked them about compensating me for my kraals for both goats and cows. They also did not give me assurance that they will compensate me for my kitchen. They promised to send me others to do evaluation for the other items.
There are compensation rates for perennial crops like coffee, onion, coffee, banana, cocoa. We have not been compensated, and actually have not received even the compensation rates from the district. We don't know how much will a tree cost, how much will a coffee plant cost, how much will a banana plant cost for all the 2 years. I don't think that is right.
You know, the challenge we have in Kakumiro is the lack of land titles. We don't own land. We are squatters. And therefore, when these people come to compensate us, they claim we don't have land. You know, the rates are different. For us, the absentee landlords who own land are not even there. So I think now that I'm a cabinet member, I've just got to cabinet and tell them, give us money. Because there is nobody who is going to claim this money. You understand what I mean? The absentee landlords are not there. Some of them don't even know that they have land titles, either in banks or what. And therefore, our people are given, in fact, peanuts, including myself, because I also don't own a land title.
This is a negotiation. It is my land. You want to take it. If you want to take it, tell me when are you taking it and what are you buying, how much are you buying it from me. 2, right now, after valuation, they must come back with what we call a valuation report which is processed by the chief government valuer. Because, so which means that right now, when they come back, I'm very sure the rates there are rates for 2019 and below. Yet for now, even if people are complaining, somebody tells you that, I'm telling you, if I was given money the other time, I would buy the same land, the same cost. But now, land that I would buy has tripled.
However, the manager corporate affairs at the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, Gloria Serikari, says there's an elaborate process to ensure that project-affected persons get their compensation.
There are 2 categories. There's a compensation rate for crops and temporary facilities. So compensation rates for crops and non-permanent structures are determined by the district land boards. So what the district land boards do is that on an annual basis, they develop a matrix of the different crops, of the different structures that are in their locality, because these differ from district to district. The expectation people have is that there should be different rates for oil and gas. And this is not fair to the project, because this is a government project in essence, but also we have to ensure that that compensation is done fairly for both the project affected person and also the developer.
Government has also undertaken the relocation and resettlement of people to give space for the central processing facility in Ingwendo sub-county, Bulisa district. The project requires 310 hectares of land where mined oil will be cleaned of all impurities before being taken for refining in Buseruka at the refinery. The relocation and compensation was spearheaded by government together with petroleum companies Total, E&P Uganda and Talo Oil. When we visited this area, houses where some of the project-affected persons will be relocated dotted the area. For instance, Total E&P implored locals to continue using their land as long as they had not yet been compensated. But the Bulisa County MP, Stephen Mukitale, says the compensation needs to be holistic.
I have had my 10 acres. Take me to Chigoroya where my grandmother is, get me 10 acres. If Chigoroya land is 20 million per acre, give me 200 million. But don't give me 3.5 at a village level. That was a scandal. That was a scandal. Now, cut-off point, very hurting. You make a peasant sign for a cut-off point. You take over his land. He's not using the land. You haven't paid for the pipeline. What does that mean? The oil and gas work has gone down for 4 years, but you have a cut-off point. Is that fair?
Sebikari says locals are now undertaking economic activities as part of the relocation process.
It's not just about compensation and giving people money. Livelihood restoration is a very important part of the resettlement action planning process. And what do we mean by livelihood restoration? When you're shifting someone from one place to the other, you're causing a disruption in maybe a socio-economic activity that they used to undertake. And so for the projects, for example, in Bulisa and in Chikube, for the Kingfisher and Tilenga projects, the land acquisition process has advanced more than that for ECOP. And so I'll use that as an example. There are livelihood restoration programs that are now being implemented. We have those in agriculture, where project-affected persons have been put into farmer groups. They're being taught and trained in modern farming methods.
The government has also instituted a grievance management mechanism to handle all complaints stemming from the assessment.
The Uganda State of Oil and Gas Sector feature is brought to you by Accord in partnership with CSCO, NTV with support from DGF.